So let's get into our first topic here, and our first topic is going to be Wonder Woman 84 and how it's performing at the box office. So it looks like we're looking at a total right now of a big $85 million that Wonder Woman has brought in, which if you remember last week we covered the first initial numbers internationally was about 38 million. So it looks like actual worldwide opening weekend hit this past Friday, and it's managed to get up to 85 million. So I don't know, it only added like essentially doubled. So it's really not a still pretty much underperforming for the most part. So again, though, at least is in my opinion, I feel like this is kind of to be expected, just due to the current climate, if you will. So I don't really know if I in my head I can consider this to be like a huge like loss just because they kind of knew. I feel like this outcome was expected, in all honesty, and I
Yep.
think, as we said last week, their biggest drive was just trying to get HBO subscriptions in because of this, so we'll have to wait and see if that worked out for HBO and Warner Media, and just I don't know if they're gonna release those numbers, but I'm curious to see if the HBO Max views are, substantially higher than what the box office doing, just because I'm sure there's gonna be more people watching on HBO Max, but to what degree, I would love to know that. So I don't know if they're gonna release those numbers, but we'll just have to kinda see.
I really hope they do release those numbers because I mean I can't imagine why somebody wouldn't if you have the subscription to HBO Max, why you wouldn't watch it.
Mhm.
If you don't care about Wonder Woman and you don't care about comics, I guess you wouldn't. And maybe you have HBO Max for I don't know, something else. I don't know what else you'd have it for, but so maybe not. But I'd be real interested to see not only how many people that have subscriptions got it, but also how many. What I'm more curious about is how many new subscriptions they've picked up since
Mhm.
they made this announcement that it was opening simultaneously with the theaters.
Yeah, that's what and I don't know if they're gonna release that information, but I really hope they do. Like,
Mhm.
because 'cause I'm sure I mean, I could totally see it if it's good, they'll probably release it just so they can have some sort of, I don't know,
Sure.
bragging rights or confirmation, bias on their end. This is why they decided to do it. Like,
And
"Oh, it
it's
worked out."
it's investor relations too. It's a sign that it's a symbol or a sign to their investors that hey, we're doing things the right way, we're moving things in the right direction without because they have to wait for their quarterly numbers and stuff to talk about specifics with people. But if they do it as a PR stunt, then that's a way they can talk to their investors without those quarterly numbers.
Right, and well, not to mention, they took a lot of Warner Brothers themselves taking a lot of heat about their whole 2021 HBO Max concurrent announcement ever since they made the announcement, and, I mean, it looks like Dune, as an example, isn't gonna be one of those movies. It looks like they're gonna have to end up sticking to a theatrical release with that, and, there was a report saying that they were gonna end up paying Legendary, like, $250 million just to allow them to put, Kong versus Godzilla on, or Godzilla versus Kong, whichever it is, but they were gonna pay them just $250 million just to put on HBO Max and not do it in theaters,
It's a lot of money.
yeah, and honestly
Yeah.
too, this doesn't really have to do with Wonder Woman as much as this does the HBO Max thing, but I feel like Warner Brothers is I get why they wanted to do the whole HBO Max day and date release stuff, like, it makes sense, but I feel like, obviously, the way they handled it by not discussing it with all the directors was bad, it was stupid, and because look at all the backlash it's caused them, but I feel like they're completely, like, I don't know, just missing an easy, like, just marketing opportunity for just going ahead and releasing the movies in theaters like they normally would, but then all the commercials that come out post theatrical window, instead of saying, coming to, available on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, like, on X day, available for digital on X day, just available exclusively on HBO Max on X day. They could just do that for every single one of these movies and still have them released in theaters. They just have built-in marketing
Yeah.
for that. They like because they control the marketing for the movies. They don't have to like their entire marketing plan for like the at-home release of their films could exclusively say HBO Max. Like they don't have to advertise it's available on Blu-ray, digital, anywhere else. They could just flood the market with commercials saying available exclusively on HBO Max on X day, as opposed
Yeah.
to what they decided to do.
I think one of the issues that they might have in there is because of the way those corporations are structured with the home sales, the home, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K division. I mean, they have their own division of home sales. So that division probably has an advertising budget, and they're probably going to fight tooth and nail to not give that over to the streaming side and have the streaming side marketed exclusively, because then it's going to reflect bad on their division if their numbers don't hit what they're hoping to get that way.
That's
I
true.
agree with you that it would ideally that would be a way to really bump that the awareness and the importance in the consumer's mind of HBO Max. But I just these companies are so compartmentalized, and
Mhm.
we're seeing it with the way things are being handled, that people just don't talk to each other and they don't work together on things. And so I have a feeling that trying to do something like that would be very difficult, especially in today's climate. Maybe further down the road, if they are able to integrate some of those divisions together and get better discussion among them, maybe that would be something they should look at. But
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Because I know, Rick, this, Wonder Woman being released, exclusive on HBO Max did not make you go out and subscribe to HBO Max
No.
because you still haven't seen the movie, so, I
No,
mean.
and I'm just not a huge Wonder Woman fan. Like, I don't mean to put it down or anything like that, but it's just never been a hero that's appealed to me a lot.
Yeah. So do you think that's more or less like why, like, if this was Matrix 4, you think you probably would've
Oh, yeah.
subscribed to
Oh,
watch
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That's something I'm really looking forward to, but, yeah, to me, it wasn't worth the Wonder Woman. I mean, how much is HBO Max?
It's like $16 a month.
So it's like,
15, yeah,
even if
15,
you're watching
16
it,
a month.
be like paying that much to watch Wonder Woman, like, a couple times or whatever, and you could cancel it. So, I mean, it's not a bad deal or anything, but it's not something I would go out of my way to.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially the price of a movie ticket to get HBO Max,
Yeah.
but you get access to everything.
All the
So, I
other
mean,
stuff.
it's definitely worth it, and like I said, right now, HBO Max has, like, more and arguably better content than every other streaming platform out there.
Wasn't there a
Like,
lot of content?
yeah, they have a lot of content, and a lot of it's,
Well,
they have
that
a lot more
a lot.
premium content, we'll say, than, like, a Disney Plus does and a Netflix
Yeah. Well,
does.
they'll have a lot more stuff coming to it as well, so
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, as of right now, HBO Max is probably, despite it underperforming when compared to a Netflix or a Disney Plus, ironically, it's kind of the best bang for your buck
yeah.
as far as, like, the content that's on it and what you actually get out of it. I mean, obviously, that's gonna vary, from person to person and what their interests are, but just as
You
far
know,
as overall premium content, they got a ton of it.
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you know, I sort of agree with that, but I'm a subscriber to the DC Universe app, which has all the DC originals,
Mhm.
and they've moved all those DC originals over to HBO Max. But the other reason I subscribed to the DC Universe was up until now was because they had all the old Batman or DC animated shows on there
Mhm.
as well. You could watch things like the Batman animated series from the 90s, Batman Beyond, Superman animated, Justice League animated. And then even further back, you could watch things like the Super Friends, Challenges of Super Friends, things like that.
I remember that.
And I just saw an article yesterday or maybe the day before that said that HBO Max announced that Batman the animated series is coming to their platform. And I was actually shocked because I just assumed when they said that they were closing down the streaming side, or at least the movie and TV streaming side of the DC Universe app, I assumed that all that content would be moving over to HBO Max. But apparently that's not the case. Apparently they're kind of picking things here and there to bring over and not everything, which I don't understand why they wouldn't. They already had it all set up to stream. It was streaming on DC Universe. Why
Mhm.
in the world? Because there's things that I was really hoping to one day get around to watching. I hadn't yet, but I like the fact that it was there on the DC Universe app and I could get to it eventually. Um, Things like the old Teen Titans TV show, animated show, and
Right.
that's not going to be available and things like that. So while HBO Max does have pretty good value, that there's some stuff that just inexplicably isn't available on there still.
And I think that's kind of with what you were saying, like with them being like so compartmentalized and like I think it goes into that, and then with just how they botched the launch for it because they have the
Yep.
titles that they had like a 1 month window when they first launched where they could even have a lot of DC movies on HBO Max because it was already licensed to be on another platform. So as soon as HBO Max launched, they were pumping out all their marketing like with all the DC movies are here, and it's like then a month later they're like, well,
They
okay,
were gone.
yeah, and then BVS and like Wonder Woman had to be removed from
Yeah.
HBO Max because they had licensing elsewhere. And I think it might be a situation like that with some of it because I wouldn't imagine that you would think everything that was on DC Universe would just move over to HBO Max because they kind of announced that that's what
Exactly.
was going to happen. But yeah, for whatever reason, some things it hasn't made their way over there. It just makes no sense. I don't know. I feel like it's just a combination of them rushing this stuff along too much, and it's kind of like classic Warner Brothers and DC, where they're always left trying to play catch up, and they don't take the time to actually do something properly. They just throw everything together in like the quickest and most inefficient way, and just say, "Here it is." We got to catch up with Marvel. Here's Justice League. And, it's just that kind of thing. It's like, and you get just kind of a meh situation in the end, as opposed to, I don't know, what should be a simple thing is just kind of not that it's a simple thing to like launch a streaming service. It's like it's a big project to do, but in this situation with all the DC content already being somewhere, you think it's just okay. Well, now it's here, and they just move on. But I don't know. What are you gonna say, Rick?
No, I was just gonna say I'm interested to hear your opinions and like the differing opinions on what you thought of Wonder Woman.
Well, that's what we're gonna get into. We're
Yeah.
gonna get into that first. So we'll go ahead to
Could we take a quick break before we do that?
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Guys, just let us know what you think about Wonder Woman's box office down in the comment section below. Do you think that, kind of like me, do you think it's kind of to be expected? This, yeah, it's underperforming in some ways, just because, a movie like this, 85 million global right now, when it's been open in international markets for a week now, and then now we had opening weekend in the States, and it's only managed to kind of pull in double what it already pulled in internationally. Yeah, I could definitely see it being, overall looked upon as a failure in a lot of ways, box office wise, but I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like I said, it's just kind of expected. I didn't expect Wonder Woman to make $250 million opening weekend when half the theaters around the world aren't even open right now. So I don't know. Let us know what you guys think of this down in the comment section below.